Howdy! Howdy! Welcome to San Antonio A&M Club and the 2026 Muster, Aggie Muster, hosted by the San Antonio A&M Club. My name is Robert Lozano, class of '89, and I'm the vice president of our club and this year's Muster chair. Aggie Muster is one of Texas A&M's most solemn and meaningful traditions. It's a time when Aggies around the world come together in remembrance, reflection, and unity. Before we get started, I know there's a lot of people that may not have participated in Muster before, and specifically Muster here in San Antonio. So there's a few housekeeping items that I'd like to take care of. Obviously, if there is an emergency, 2 fire exits directly behind you. We have another fire exit here, through the kitchen, and then through the back. We have restrooms on the back right side, so just wanted to take care of that, make sure we have a kitchen here if you need something also. As far as Muster is concerned, once we start the roll call, if it's your family member and you have the card, everybody's welcome to come up who's part of your family, or if you're representing a friend, whoever you're representing. You can come up. One person will come up, light the candle, place the candle back on the white portion of here, and then we will give you a flower for you to take home, and then you can proceed back to your seat. So those are a lot of questions that I've got from a lot of people, just kind of uncertainty. Wanted to make sure everybody knew what's going on. And then after we have Muster, it'll be a little chaotic. We will clear out all these chairs. We'll put them on the side, and Aggies will do what Aggies do. They'll help out, pitch in. We'll roll some tables out, and then we'll have some fellowship. We have some food, we have drink, sponsored by Rebecca Creek Distillery, and we hope you guys will stick around. We would like to hear the stories of your loved one, your friends, because this is the second part of Muster, and it's why we're here today, is to gather as Aggies all over the world. Please rise in presentation of the color, followed by our national anthem, led by former President Lane Mitchell, class of '79, and remain standing for the invocation led by Mitchell Byron, class of 2017.
Stand by. Ho. Attention. Hut. Port. Ho. Forward. Hut. Hold. Present. Ho!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh,
guys to pray with me? Father in heaven, we thank you for allowing us to gather today as Aggies and friends of Aggies for this evening's muster. We're grateful for the bond we share and the memories that we honor together. We pray for those who are not with us today as we answer roll call for them. We ask for your strength, comfort, and peace to surrounding their families, friends, and fellow Aggies. We pray for the new leadership of our great university. Grant her wisdom, strength, and resolve as she guides Texas A&M into the future. And lastly, we ask for your blessing upon all who traveled to be here this evening for our safety as we return to our homes, and we thank you for your grace and your forgiveness. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Amen.
Please be seated. Aggie Muster is a sacred, time-honored tradition, one that unites Aggies across generations and around the world today. It reflects the enduring values of a spirit that truly makes Texas A&M special. I am deeply honored to serve as the Muster Chair. I did not anticipate how impactful this role would be on me. I received so many phone calls, texts, emails from each of you wanting to ensure your family member, your core buddy, your classmate, your fellow Aggie's name was called out this evening. Through every message, I could feel how important this event is for each of you. I pray that you feel how special this event is for all of us. We are deeply honored to call the name of your Aggie, and I want you to know how meaningful this muster is to Aggies everywhere. Although we do not share that same bond as you, know that Aggies, their spirit lives with us forever.
Howdy. Howdy. I'm Paula Schneider, class of '82, and I'm honored to be the 2026 president of the San Antonio A&M Club. Aggies will muster all over the world today, but to my knowledge, we are the only club to muster in our very own facility, just like we've done for 72 years. This space was dedicated at my club in 1964. Our club was chartered in 1921, and 25 years after that, this 3.3-acre plot was purchased from a local dairy operator, Henry Weir, class of 1913. It was purchased by 10 Aggies who personally financed the purchase of this land on behalf of the club. Several additions and improvements have been made to the physical building over the years, with the culmination of a major capital campaign a few years ago that supported the beautiful structure that we sit in today. But the spirit and passion is the same as back in 1954. Our mission states that the San Antonio A&M Club Foundation exists to promote fellowship among former students, current students, and friends of Texas A&M, to spread the Aggie spirit across the greater San Antonio area, and to provide scholarships to Bexar County students attending Texas A&M University. I believe we live this mission every day. Aside from muster, for fellowship, we host Monday lunches over 40 Mondays a year, an annual family barbecue, a club Christmas party, Sunday with Santa. We feed the band after they march in the Battle of Flowers Parade this Friday. We also feed Rudders Rangers after their maneuvers at Camp Bullis a couple times a year. We hold Aggie Work Days quarterly. We'll do an Aggies on Deck at the Missions game over the July 4th weekend. We host a Maroon Mass in the summer to send the kids off to school. We have game watch, I'm running out of breath. We have game watch parties We take a bus to games. We have a great Young Aggie program that does many activities. And we have great support from our affiliates, the Aggie Moms and the Aggie Women's Clubs. To fundraise for the $96,000 that we raise for our scholarship commitment every year, we hold a golf tournament in the spring, host Coaches Night in late spring or early summer. We raffle off a nilgai hunt, and we have boot scooting in the fall, just to name a few. I know you want to be a part of this. If you're not already a member, please join. There's room for everyone. And there's always something to do, and there's always fun to be had. There's a membership table in the back, or you can go to our website and join us to see what all wonderful events we have and how you can participate and join us. This is your club. This is your Aggie home, and I hope to see you around here very soon. Thanks and gig 'em.
Howdy. A muster tradition. Century-old roots provide the basis for muster as Aggies know it today. It has changed, yet the spirit in which it was established remains the same. Since the founding of Texas A&M, every Aggie has lived and become a part of the Aggie spirit. What we feel today is not just the camaraderie of fellow Aggies, it is the spirit of hundreds of thousands of Aggies who have gone before us and who will come after us. Muster is how that spirit is remembered and celebrated, and it will always continue to unite Texas A&M and the Aggie family. A&M may change, but the spirit never will. April 21st has been a special day for Aggies since the very earliest years of Texas A&M. In the 1870s and 1880s, campus field days were held on the anniversary of the Battle of San Jacinto, marking Texas's independence. By the 1890s, it was an official college holiday. Meanwhile, A&M's earliest alumni organizations were starting a tradition of reading aloud a list of names at their annual June meetings to honor their fellow former students who had passed on in the preceding year. During World War I, Aggies gathered on April 21st in the trenches and towns of France, Belgium, and Luxembourg. In the early 1920s, the Association of Former Students encouraged all A&M clubs to hold April 21st meetings and parties. The April 15, 1923 Texas Aggie urged, if there is an A&M man in 100 miles of you, you are expected to get together, eat a little, and live over the days you spent at the A&M College of Texas. These April 21st meetings spread around the U.S. and elsewhere in the 1920s and 1930s. Then, in 1942, a reported gathering of Texas Aggies under fire on April 21st made this Texas A&M tradition famous nationwide. News headlines spoke of the Texans' courage and camaraderie during Japan's siege of the Philippine island of Corregidor. The next year, more than 500 Aggie musters worldwide honored the Aggies of Corregidor. The association sent out the first muster packets to chairs, and the muster tradition became a permanent part of the Aggie spirit. Today, muster is celebrated in more than 300 locations worldwide, with the largest ceremony taking place on the Texas A&M campus in College Station. The ceremony brings together more Aggies worldwide on one occasion than any other event. And second, right here at Aggie Park.
It is a great honor to announce our muster speaker this evening. My first recollection of Dr. John Thornton goes back to the mid to late 80s, when he was the assistant basketball coach under legendary Shelby Metcalf. And I was a young student at Texas A&M. At that time, I didn't realize John was the assistant coach. I just thought he was the guy that picked up Shelby Metcalf's jacket sometime in the first quarter. From those days, I had followed John's career in great admiration. And in 2019, I was fortunate to formally meet John, his wife, Lainey, class of '78, when my wife and I, Lisa, class of 26, she made me say that, and I traveled to Israel with St. Mary's Catholic Church in College Station. During that journey, we developed a meaningful relationship and quickly discovered just how much we share in common. We grew up in San Antonio, actually grew up on the same streets as San Antonio. We received our first communion and confirmation at the same church, share a love for Payne 42, bass fishing, and both began our college journeys at San Antonio College before transferring to Texas A&M. Although we are a few years apart in age, I remember many of his high school friends from my neighborhood, which grew up and made me feel an even more special connection with John. There is only one thing John and I do not have in common. John had the opportunity to choose where he wanted to go to high school, either Holmes or Jay. I'm pretty confident that there's are many days that he reflects on his life and wishes that he could have been a Mustang. Over the last 6 years, I've had the privilege of learning more about John's remarkable Aggie story. He is a second-generation Aggie who, as a young boy, ran around this club with his father, Bill, class of 1950. Was an active member of our club. From a very young age, Aggieland was not just a university to John, it was part of his identity, rooted in family tradition and values. When we traveled to the Holy Land, I had the opportunity to see these values lived out in quite a meaningful way. Walking in ancient and sacred ground, it became clear how John treasures faith and family. John is a devoted husband, a proud Aggie father, and now an Aggie grandfather. His love for Texas A&M University runs deep, and he has dedicated his life work to serving the institution that has shaped him. Many of you know his voice from the Aggie basketball broadcast along Andrew Monaco, but beyond the microphone, John's true legacy is found in humility, kindness, and unwavering commitment to Texas A&M. Please help me in welcoming back to San Antonio Aggie Park our muster speaker, Dr. John Thornton.
Howdy. Howdy. If I can figure out how to make this thing stay up so you can hear me. Adjust it. Somebody can. There's a little bit, there's something else we don't have in common, height. I'll start over. Howdy. Howdy. First of all, it's a privilege to be here. And I think Robert set the stage pretty well as far as thinking about the significance of being here at Aggie Park, and then the significance of the day that we're celebrating here is to remember and to make it personal. How can it get more personal for me? I mean, I grew up here, and along those lines about learning how to be an Aggie, what A&M was all about, I didn't have a chance because my dad was a yell leader. He was class of 50 yell leader. He was a World War II veteran, GI Bill, and was basically the first non-reg yell leader. So it's kind of a tricky question, but so I was either brought up that way, indoctrinated that way, or brainwashed that way. But so that's where I got my roots as far as the A&M start. Obviously, anytime you have an ability to represent Texas A&M, it's an honor. And I got the privilege of doing that as a player, as a coach, and in many hats that I've worn throughout my years in athletics business. And it was great to see. I think Lisa was probably behind the scenes that did a lot of this work. We give Robert credit for it, but all the profile of all the things that I was associated with, and it was really it was kind of intimidating. But they did leave out one thing. I do hold the block shot record at Texas A&M, and that wasn't listed. I got my shot blocked more than anybody else that played Texas A&M. Coach Metcalf said, used to tease and would tell people that it was the largest fraternity in the world that people had blocked my shot. No, but really seriously, thank you. It is a privilege. My dad was actually, my whole family was here for my dad's roll call when he passed away, so it's a significant event, as we all know. But back to my roots. So my dad worked at Rellis, or the old airfield in Bryan. That's where I was born, in Bryan. But when they shut that down, he would transfer to Kelly. So we first moved to West Mistletoe, then to Valley High. You went to Sam Rayburn Junior High. Did you go to Sam Rayburn? No, you didn't. But Sam Rayburn Junior High. And growing up, the Aggie Club was here. And obviously, and it's such a proud thing to have this facility and those guys to do what they did to establish this is remarkable. But I remember coming over here on Monday nights after football games. They would ship a 16mm film over, and they would show it. It wasn't video, a 16mm film, and my dad would take my brother and I, and we'd come and sit and watch that. And we experienced a lot of the events that our president just talked about as far as what were things that pulled this community together that in support of A&M and just the connectivity. And we did that growing up. So coming to muster and doing those types of things were extremely important and the foundation of my life. And not only that, the people I met that were here. And it's been like a who's who for me to walk around and bump into people. We've got Nancy Austin, who's a Yantis out here, a classmate of my brother's at Holmes High School. Mike Riggs, where's Mike? I played football at Holmes High School. We weren't really very good. But Mike was my center on that team. We won't go into what our record was, but the combination center quarterback was very good. Also, Terry Sue Walford is here. Her husband's going to be recognized today. She's also a classmate of mine. And also, I was kind of intimidated because you got Tony Franklin right over here beside me. You think you're all bad, and you have like a world record-setting field goal kicker sitting behind you. So there's Tony. Love that. But so I got to meet a lot of Aggies and what being an Aggie was all about. And to carry it forward as far as who influenced me as I talked about my dad, but some of these names will mean something to some of you, maybe not to others, but at the same time, these people were pillars of the community and what really it meant to be an Aggie. And I lived it by seeing them at work. And they exemplify the things that make A&M special. Selfless service, dedication to family. And I could go down the list of all the character traits, leadership, confidence, good humor, creativity. And some of those people that influenced me that way, that it might bring back some memories to others, but Raul and Sylvia Fernandez, Carl and Bunny Raba, John Yanis, Charlie Wiseman, H.B. Zachary, Chaz Neely, Shady Strickle. All those guys are people that I grew up with. They were kind of my idols, and I actually worked for Jim Upmore on a summer job. And back then, you actually had to work. It wasn't like you got anything for free, especially for Jim Upmore if you knew it. One day we were working on construction sites. He said, hey, we got a special thing for you guys to go do. And so it was after work, we didn't know what it was. It was come to Aggie Park and help build a barbecue pit. That's out there. Little did I know that I'd be here 50 some odd years later. I was in here in Mustard. But those are the type of people that gave me a glimpse of what A&M was all about. And then I witnessed it, and we've all witnessed it because we've all done our part, either associated with A&M, getting a degree from A&M, being around somebody from A&M. We've seen it in action, and that creativity, those things in leadership. And we witnessed it, from other people firsthand on campus. It brought to mind a memory of mine. Phil Sims, who's a Delta airline pilot. I'm talking about creativity. And he used to every once in a while get this route. He'd fly into Austin on his plane. This is true story. And he would say this, as they approached the runway in Austin. He would say, "We have begun our descent into the capital city of Austin, noted not only for its beauty, but also for its cultural diversity. There is also a world-class university, famous not only for its athletic prowess, but also for its academic excellence. That university is located 90 miles east of Austin, in College Station, Texas." He would do that, and he's a classmate of mine, and he's got the biggest chick in the cabin would erupt back there in disagreement. But true story, that's what he would do. And some of those things that we're talking about, they don't change. You know, they don't. And it's what makes us have so much pride in being here and doing the things that were set, the stage that was set, is we're going to remember, we're going to have camaraderie, we're going to make it personal, right? I'm going to try to do that just a little bit. I got a little bit of time. I actually have a prepared statement, so it's going to end at some point. But you know, the things that have not changed are the things that I kind of mentioned. But what has changed is 81,000 students. How about that? 81,000 students on the campuses of Galveston, McAllen, Health Science Center Law School included on our main campus. How about Wall Street Journal ranked us the best bang for your buck in the state of Texas as far as college education in 2024. How about $1.4 billion invested in research annually? How about that? Number one in Texas. How about the Corps of Cadets still going strong? I was adopted by the John Jay Mustang reunion 2 years ago because I went to school with all those guys, but they ended up beating my brains out when I was playing football for home. But that lasting relationship with those guys was something that you grow up with. And that's what I witnessed through being around A&M as long as I have, and the impact that the Corps has had. 2,400 people, but the impact that goes on for miles and miles. Marsh Brazos was about 2 weekends ago. My grandson's a sophomore, soon to be a junior, after final reviews this weekend, I think. And so getting to see that up close and personal, it was so much pride, even though I did not, I wasn't in the Corps, how much pride I have in those guys. And thinking about the things that are still done now, about the commitment to service. The big event. How many people know what the big event is? Raise your hand. You participated in it, right? So this year, I believe it was 10,000 students did over 2,200 projects. And what other school in this country does that? Nobody. I mean, how impressive is that? The other things that we have been creative as we go. And I mentioned my grandson that's a sophomore. I have a grandson that's 5.5 years old too. And we took him to the chemistry, physics, engineering fair a month ago. And there were literally hundreds of students volunteering to put on displays and experiments on that side of campus. And to see their enthusiasm interacting and working with students, little kids and stuff, and just showing on the side of Texas A&M. And obviously, it just makes you proud. I just love that. The other thing that we do is the other education. They call it the other education. It's all the different activities you have outside the classroom, and great pride in that. And we could go on and on in the camaraderie part after this is over with about the activities that you participated in, other than just getting a degree and what you learned and who you met and how important that is. One of the things that we've also got going is we are the best. We've been ranked the best institution in the country for transitioning veterans into life after military service, as far as going to college. And it made sense with that GI Bill. It made sense for me growing up in San Antonio, living right next to Lackland Air Force Base growing up, seeing everybody and what they do, and the commitment and the life that they have absolutely endured for the protection of this country. And so it's cool to see that kind of impact going on in Texas A&M. It should. What better place to do that? And along those lines, when I started the Texas A&M, it's called the Thornton McTrigger Coaching Academy. If you listen to basketball or football or baseball, Andrew always throws that in there. It makes me giggle because he does it on his own. I think he does it to embarrass me, but really proud of what we're doing there to help coaches that are trying to get into the coaching teachers and coaches getting into the profession. And we have a special program for veterans that we want to help them. And I knew Donnie Griffith, Lewis Nunley, Danny Gear, all guys that ended up being colonels in the Air Force and all ended up going into public education. And there's probably many examples in this room. And so why wouldn't we do that? And we started it, and the guy that's running it for us is a 9-tool veteran and special forces guy, Nate Young. He's done a wonderful job. So it's a lot of pride. A lot of my background obviously is athletics, but there's so much more to it, as we all know. There's a lot to athletics when we win. And timing's everything. It's a good time to come talk about athletics after you swept 2 teams in baseball in 2 consecutive weekends. That probably means something to you. You know, you beat LSU, Texas, not a bad deal. You know, I represent Texas A&M, but so really excited about what we're doing and these different frames of reference. Again, going back to those people that influenced me and people that influenced you. You know, Shelby Metcalf was a legend. And some of the younger people don't know who he is. John David Crow, high school trophy winner. Those 2 guys had a big impact on me. I mean, Shelby recruited me to A&M. I had to go to junior college first. You know, I went to Holmes High School, San Pedro High. Oh, not even call it that anymore. SAC, and then to A&M, and then be able to play for him, and then eventually work for John David Crow as he was athletic. So, you know, for a guy growing up, humble beginnings, to be able to be around those 2 people, that through my career was just mind-blowing. But it's also kind of mind-blowing that I helped found this coaching academy thing because Coach Metcalf tried hard to talk people out of coaching. And he did it to make you be convicted about you want to coach. That's what he would do. And he would try to inspire you with things like this. He was kind of a quick-witted dude, if you remember. I remember him telling us, he said, John, why do you want to coach? He said, one year they're going to name a street after you, and the next year they're going to run you down. He said, if you do coach, just remember, the longer you coach in school, the more you're going to look like their mascot. So be very careful about what school you go to. He was also the guy that told people about academics and how important it was. And a reporter asked him one time, said, some of you heard this one. The guy, one of our players had 4 Fs and a D, and they asked him about it, and Shelby said, it's obvious you're spending too much time on one subject. The last one is, I heard this one, he was being interviewed, and, you know, back in the day in athletics, it's changed so much, freshmen weren't eligible. You know, freshmen weren't eligible. You had 3 years to play. Now they have, what, last time I checked, you could play 7 years. But you could play 3, and you couldn't dunk. And not that it would have made a whole lot of difference in my career, but you couldn't dunk. And I remember a reporter asked me, he said, Coach, with the dunk coming back into play in 1976, a year after I graduated, he says, what are you going to tell your team? Or how's that going to change your team? He goes, to tell you the truth, I never told them they couldn't dunk. That's the kind of guy that he was, and obviously he helped me get every job, and I got to follow him and do some really, have the ability to do some really cool things, experience some really cool things. But again, to remember, and just to take a little bit longer, just talk about A&M in general and athletics specifically, is how far we've come. You know, all male, all military. You know, Title IX, women's athletics, early 70s when that started, and then we implemented women's athletics, right, in a small start. They didn't even have a locker room, much less bathrooms on campus, because it was all new. And to think about what A&M does when they put their mind to it, and what we've done is, how many national championships have we won in women's sports now? I'm going to probably forget one. We've got women's basketball, we have volleyball this year, we've won tennis, and track, multiple track championships. So for a school that didn't have women's athletics to do that, and make that kind of, it's what A&M and Aggies can do when they put their minds to it. We're going to need that kind of thought because of how athletics is changing with the NIL and the transfer portal and all that. It's a transitioning period. And I have no resentment, you know, for being a player, you know, back in the day. to the money that they make, because everybody's doing it now. I mean, it's what it is. And it's short-sightedness on the part of the NCAA a long time ago. We ended up the way that we ended up. But don't feel too bad for us, because we did get a full scholarship when we played, and we also got laundry money. We got $40 a month to do our laundry. We did. And then Coach Metcalf had arranged us to be able to go by the creamery and get a milkshake every day. So that was above and beyond the scholarship. So don't feel real sorry for us. But now they sponsor 21, A&M sponsors 21 sports, and it's a fun time to be here because of what's being accomplished with the athletic department as far as leadership is concerned. I'm excited about our head coaches and our athletic director. You know, I started with Emery Ballard, Jackie Sherrill, Wally Groff, Bill Byrne, and so I've seen a bunch. I'm just really impressed with Trev and what he's got going. That's how I mentioned Wally Groff, that connectivity to people that influence you. Billy Pickard, who knows Billy Pickard? All right, Billy Pickard's at Central Catholic High School, a legend. You know, ran Kyle Field training room for decades and decades. Great friend, and when Wally Groff, Central Catholic also, once an athletic director. So any connections, again, it's personal, and it's something to really be proud of and excited about. But getting back to what athletics and the head coaches that we have now, it's a different day and time. But it's really neat to see the head coaches interact and support one another. Teams support other teams. That's the way it was back in the day. Tony would probably say this, but we all went to football games, they all went to basketball games, we all went to track, even though the track was around Kyle Field. It wasn't indoor. But, you know, you supported one another. And you see that, you get that sense of, I think the women's volleyball team, you got a little bit of a feel for that if you watched that or associated with that. You saw the coaches there, you saw people support them like that. And so it's been fun to see head coaches take that responsibility and lead their programs that way. And along those lines, it's been fun for me to get to meet Bucky McMillan and see what he's all about. And I've just been it's been exciting. Obviously, I worked with Andrew Monaco, did the Spurs all these years, and just a phenomenal guy. What a treat it is to work with him. But it's also an extreme treat to be around Bucky and what he's trying to do. And what he did this last year, which was remarkable, to take the group that he had and halfway through conference play, we're leading the league. Can you believe that? And then, you know, doing what he did and making the NCAA tournament for 1 year and won the first game. So he's got a system, and he's got a confidence, and he's got a personality that is absolutely suited for Texas A&M. I don't know of anybody better at the helm. It's a tough job, because of just the topsy-turvy way it goes with recruitment. And he's got his work cut out for him, but I couldn't be more pleased with him being in the role he is. And I went to see his first press conference. He goes, he says, we're going to play hard, we're going to be unselfish, we're going to be fearless. And that's the way he is. He's fearless. I mean, you go on the road in the SEC with a bunch of guys you only had for about 5 months and you go play. But he exudes that, he teaches that, and his team embodies that. So it's really exciting to see him and what he has a chance to do, and also what we're doing in the other areas in the athletics department, which it's not the most important thing, but it's a pretty important thing for us from time to time. I think you would probably agree. So it's good to know that we have that, and just a little bit the reminiscent part, how far we've come and where we're going. It's really cool. But getting more back to the meaning and why we're here, it's camaraderie, it's remembering, right? That's what we're supposed to be doing. And then recognizing those that have gone before us. And so all part of that is, you know, remembering what A&M has meant to us. And then along those lines with the people whose names we're going to call out, what they meant to us. And so that's really obviously why we're here. But it also is a chance just to reflect. You're here because you remember. But it doesn't hurt to remember the band. When you're walking around on campus and you heard the band practicing off on the other side of campus, you could hear it. How about that for a memory? How about the Corps when they used to do their runs through campus and everybody would stop? How about the friendliness of Howdy? You know, if you're new and you knew it, just take you back. But how about that? That has not changed How about meeting your wife, your best friend? Best friends, how about that? What about the traffic jams at Welborn Road and that ain't changed. I mentioned the March of the Brazos. How about MSC, walking through MSC and seeing the Medal of Honor winners with their tribute up on the wall? So that remembrance is something that I think all schools have tradition. All schools have memories. Nobody has them like we have. And it's a great thing that we're here to celebrate that. And I think reflecting back on your own personal story, three things. One, reflect back on your own story, your simple story or complicated story. And if possible, to thank those that got you there. Appreciate that, you know. I think that's something that's pretty significant. The other is to share your story. I mean, I have the ability to share my story here. I'm proud of it. We all have it. And I think the sharing of those stories are what makes A&M what it is. And that legacy needs to continue. You're the ones who are going to continue it. And the other one is the recognition that we're getting ready to do. It's the most solemn thing you can. You know, and it's moving. Call my dad. It's personal. Like it is gone. Thank you for having me.
Got an altitude problem here. Well, hi. Hi. I'm Derek Cossey, class of '88, and I'll be reading roll call for the absent. Written by Dr. John Ashton at the request of the San Antonio A&M Former Student Association in 1943 to honor the Aggies who held Aggie muster on Corregidor Island before it was overtaken in 1942. This is the original version that he wrote. There have been various forms of it over the years, but this is the original one that he wrote. Roll call for the absent by Dr. John Ashton, class of 1906. In many lands and climes this April day, proud sons of Texas A&M unite. Our loyalty to country, school we pay, and so our past is bond of common might. We live again those happy days of yore, on campus, filled in classroom, hall at drill. Fond memories brings us sigh, but nothing more. Now we are men, and life is one great thrill. On Fortress Isle, 84 years ago today, a group of gallant Aggies, led by Moore, held simple rights, which to us all those say, the spirit shall prevail or a cannon roar. They thought of home and all we hold most dear. Where are they now, those boys we knew so well? Ask of the winds, let smile repress a tear. Think only of their glory when they fell. Corregidor, forevermore a hallowed name, the countless sons of Texas yet unborn. Symbolic like, it stands for deathless fame, a shrine sublime till resurrection morn. Softly call the muster, thy comrade answered here. The spirits hover around us as if to bring us cheer. Marked and present in our hearts, we'll meet some other day. There is no death, but life eternal for heroes such as they. Thank you.
I'm Todd Chumley, third-year board member. As I start the roll call, please respond with here. And if you'd like to come up and light a candle, we both do appreciate that as well. So we're so thankful to have her over here tonight. Do the lights. A little bit more. I wish I saw in the dark. There. We'll start the roll call now. Mr. Gerald J. Albert, class of 1952.
Here.
Mr. Richard I. Alterman, class of 1949.
Here.
Mr. Charles C. Ashley, Jr., class of 1968. Mr. Robert O. Bakey, class of 1969. Mr. Dennis S. Bailey, class of 1968. Mr. James M. Bailey, II, class of 1966.
Here.
Dr. Bernadette B. Beatles, class of 06. Miss Erin E. Bell, class of 04. Mr. Richard G. Berkelson, class of 1979. Lieutenant Colonel Robert E. Blake, class of 1958. Mr. Michael J. Briodi, class of 1983. Mr. Robert C. Rockwell, class of 1958. Mr. James H. Bryan, Jr., class of 90. Mr. Bobby Kane, class of 1980. Mr. Roger T. Carrillo, class of 1978.
Here.
Mr. James Richard Casillas. Commander Justin Stiles Clark, class of '01.
Here.
Mr. Todd D. Colburn, class of '98. Mr. Ariello Deuce Correa II, class of 1981. Mr. Wayne E. Crooks, class of 1977. Lieutenant Colonel Callie G. Crowder, class of 1965.
Here.
Mr. Johnny Day, class of 1978.
Here.
Mr. Blake Kevin Harrison Dorman, class of 26. Mr. Jerry C. Durbin, class of 1957.
Here.
Major James A. Earl III, class of 1953.
Here.
Mr. Rodney H. East, class of 1952.
Here.
Dr. Wayne D. Eldridge, class of 1970.
Here.
Mr. Ronald W. Eskew, class of 1964. Lieutenant Colonel Raymond H. Falke, class of 1951. Dr. Juanita B. Felder, class of 1986. Major William R. Fields, Jr., class of 1959. Colonel William H. Foy, class of 1958.
Here.
Mr. Herman C. Gattke, Jr., class of 1957.
Here.
Mr. Rudolph B. Gomez, class of 1966. Mr. Richard B. Grant, class of 1961. Mr. Todd W. Griesenbeck, class of 1976.
Here.
Joseph L. Gross Jr., class of 1941. Mr. Brent N. Gunter, class of 1982. Mr. Kevin G. Gunter, class of 1978. Mr. Jesus Guzman, class of 70 and 76.
Here.
Mr. Larry W. Haig, U.S. Air Force class of 1979. Major Milton R. Albert, class of 1960. Mr. Benny M. Ham, class of 1954.
Here.
Colonel Howard Cecil Ham Jr., class of 1963.
Here.
Mr. J. B. Hancock, class of 1979. Mr. John H. Hancock, class of 1952.
Here.
Mr. Michael S. Hanlon, class of 1974.
Here.
Dr. William F. Harmon, class of 1988.
Here.
Dr. Victor L. Hauser, class of 1973. Miss Katie S. Hawkins, class of 1977. Dr. Charles M. Hill, Jr., class of 1957. Mr. Thad R. Hogan, class of 1958. Dr. Mark E. Homer, DVM, class of 1980.
Here.
Mr. John D. Hughes, class of 1990. Miss Madeline Annie Jeffrey, class of 2036. Mr. Chester S. Johnson, Jr., class of 1974.
Here. Here.
Dr. Bruce G. Kemp, class of 1991. Mr. Paul Kennison, Jr., class of 1960. Major Anthony J. Kwan, class of 1971.
Here. Here.
Dr. Robert L. Lastovica, class of 1984. Mr. Jose A. Lopez, class of 1974. Mr. Samuel Lopez, class of 1959. Mr. Patrick J. Love, class of 1970. Mr. Leonard J. Lubering, class of 1968. Mr. Melvin S. Maltz, class of 1947. Lieutenant Colonel John W. Marmer, class of 1955. Colonel Edgar A. Marshall, Jr., class of 1959. Mr. Juan A. Johnny Martinez, class of 1994. Mr. Joseph Lee Maverick Sr., class of 1957. Mr. Clinton C. MacArthur, class of 2008. Major Michael A. McCartney, U.S. Air Force retired, class of 1979. Mr. Elmer D. McCullough, class of 1957. Mr. Robert J. McDonald, class of 1965.
Here.
Mr. William R. Metz, class of 2002.
Here.
Mr. Alton E. Miller, class of 1950. Mr. Joel L. Mills, class of 1966. Mr. Melvin Malone Mitchell, class of 1952.
Here.
Colonel John E. Montemayor, class of 1978. Mr. Larry M. Moore, class of 1970.
Here.
Lieutenant Colonel Jerry W. Nix, 50. Mr. Thomas Niermeyer, class of 87. Ms. Cecile Garza Obar, class of 84. Dr. John H. Orchard, class of 64. Mr. Bradley J. Osland, class of 13. Mary B. Wheeler Oxley, class of 67. Colonel Gordon W. Parkhill Jr., class of 49. Mrs. Pamela J. Drillkill Patton, class of 82. Mr. Carl L. Larry Peabody, class of 60. Mr. Michael Wayne Penny, class of 89. Dr. Manuel Pena Jr., class of 65. Mr. Lloyd L. Piper II, class of 65. Mr. Joe D. Pope, class of 69. Dr. Patricia A. Wagner Powers, class of 93. Mr. James M. Pointer, class of 49. Mr. Patrick W. Segner, class of 72. Dr. David R. Seguin, class of 82. Here. Mr. Al Shannon, class of 73.
Here.
Mr. Herschel D. Sharp, class of 57.
Here.
Mr. Randy Slater, class of 76 and 78. Mrs. Madeline C. Ann's Slade, class of 91. Mr. Warren A. Smith, class of 58. Mr. Douglas W. Smith Jr., class of 64. Ms. Laura D. Hedberg Spalding, class of 92.
Here.
Dr. Robert D. Starnes, class of 72. Mr. William Stavanoa, class of 79. Mr. Hugo H. Stein Jr., class of 55. Miss Kelly Tondre, class of 24. Miss Isabella E. Ungerman, class of 29. Mr. Randolph N. Vick, class of 73. Captain John C. Wallace, class of 58. Mr. Richard W. Weckenheiser, class of 72.
Here.
Dr. John A. Williamson, class of 50.
Here.
Mr. Donald E. Rattenslaw, class of 82. Mr. Harry D. Wright, class of 54.
Here.
Miss Samantha J. Wright, class of 87.
Here.
Mr. Jacob M. Zyman, class of 13.
Mr. Paul A. Leyendecker, 1977. Mr. Bollinger B. Skip Moore Jr., 1966.
Here.
Mr. Kenneth H. Tyner, 1985.
Here.
Mr. Jordy A. Velasquez, 2019. Mr. Howard H. Haynes, Jr., 1983. Mr. David Bernard Wolf, 1952.
Here.
Mr. Kyle Cox, 2019. 2018. Mr. Colby Brent Fisher, 2024. Mr. Charles Charlie Patrick Hastings, 1993. Lieutenant Colonel retired Joe Dean, Fahrenkamp, 1954. Mr. Michael Mike Kriegel, 1980.
Here.
Mr. Kells Rumsey, 1980. Master Chief Steve Fleming.
Here.
Mr. Jerome Keeley, 1984. Mr. Greg Hood, 1982. For anyone not listed in our program, please rise and say the name of your loved one along with their class year. Afterward, kindly come forward and light a candle.
Lieutenant Colonel Bobby Campbell, MLA, class of 84.
Please be seated. The last chord. It was Judgment Day in Aggieland, and tenseness filled the air. All knew there was a trip at hand, but not a soul knew where. Assembled on the drill field was the world-renowned 12th man, the entire fighting Aggie team, and the famous Aggie Band. And out in front, with Royal Guard, the reviewing party stood. St. Peter and his angel staff were choosing bad from good. First, he surveyed the Aggie team, and in terms of an angel swore, "By Jove, I do believe I've seen this gallant group before. I've seen them play since way back when, and they've always had the grit. I've seen them lose, and I've seen them win, but I've never seen them quit. No need for us to tarry here, deciding upon their fates. 'Tis plain as the halo on my head, that they've opened heaven's gates." And when the 12th man heard this, they let out a mighty yell that echoed clear to heaven and shook the gates of hell. "And what group is this upon the side?" St. Peter asked his aide, "that swelled as if to burst with pride when we our judgment made?" "Why, sir, that's the cadet corps, that's known both far and wide for backing up their winning team, whether they won, lost, or tied." "Well then," said St. Peter, "it's very plain to me that within the realms of heaven they should spend eternity. And have the Texas Aggie Band at once commence to play, for their fates too we must decide upon this crucial day." And the drum major, so hearing, slowly raised his hand and said, "Boys, let's play the Spirit for the last time in Aggie land." And the band poured forth the anthem in notes both bright and clear, and 10,000 Aggie voices sang the song they hold so dear. And when the band had finished, St. Peter wiped his eyes and said, "It's not so hard to see, they're meant for paradise." And the colonel of the cadet corps said, as he stiffly took his stand, "It's just another chord trick, boys. We'll march in behind the band."
remarks before we close our muster for 2026. John, we really appreciate you showing up today and reliving your times here at Aggie Park and recognizing your dad was here. That's one thing that I didn't know, that he was a member, but we just wanted to make sure you knew. We present. There's an opportunity to buy bricks in our walkway, in our walk path up here, and we have purchased a brick for yourself. It's already been installed, and also a brick for your father that's out in the walkway here, class of 50. So you guys will be recognized there to perpetuity. So we appreciate you being here. For those here who have loved ones, if you would like to take a candle home with you, you're welcome to come get one to take it home for keepsake. We appreciate everybody making the trip. We hope you enjoyed our show. It is time to close muster for 2026. Just a little furthermore housekeeping. It's going to be a little chaotic, but we do want to share fellowship with everybody here. Everybody is welcome to stay. We do have food and drink, and we hope that you guys will share your stories with us. Share the stories of your loved one. We'd love to hear the story, just like John said. Everybody has a story, and we'd like to hear theirs. So if you would stay, we would greatly appreciate it. It's going to be, we're just going to pick up the chairs, we're going to put them in the corner, and then we'll roll out some tables, and hopefully everybody will stick around. So the 2026 muster at San Antonio Aggie Park is now complete. I charge each to remain firm in your loyalty to the country and to your God, to keep warm in the heart your affection for each other and for the alma mater. The muster is dismissed until April 21st, 2027, and may God be with you and us all until we meet again. Thank you.